What is racism? And I'm talking about the average person and what it thinks about racism. What the average person would think about racism is the classical interpretation of it that we have. White hating black, right? Okay, so I don't want to talk about the racism that is the one that is strategic and stratified within the fabric of society. Let's leave that out for a second. Let's talk about the common racism that we all know. So, different skin color. So, apparently, the whitest person hate the blackest person. The white person don't like the black and brown people. And I don't know, the other people, which are a mixture of black and white, really, because that's what they are. So they are a mixture of indigenous melanated people in certain areas of the world, like Arabia and north of Africa, mixed with invaders, right? So half and half. So they dislike, if not hate, black people. All generically speaking, yeah. I'm not talking for every person in this reality, in this human experience. So Asian people also hate black people. Asian people, as I said in a previous video, don't like the image of the Buddha being someone darker than me with a big nose, the classical African nose, which is like this in order to facilitate fresh air to come in, to just cool the body. Just a mechanism that really the creator created, the mother universe designed it to be like this. So, and if there's a personification of mother universe, potentially she has a nose like this, you know what I mean? As other people in Asia have it too, by the way, or other people in South America, them too, they stay away from the original blackness. So it seems to me that there's a pattern of disliking the original color, disliking heavily melanated people, the ones that can stay potentially under the sunlight, So the natural condition is being somehow ostracized from from the acceptance of the people consciousness. Yeah, it's being ostracized from the acceptance of the people consciousness. And this is interesting. Well, what's also interesting is that these two people were passing by, and I swear they said vampire. Listen, the universe never fails. Ah, the church bell. Shut up, please, man. Your time is up. The church bell are ringing. Shut the fuck up. For real, man. So, yeah. It seems that there's a pattern of hating what is original, hating what is more connected to life. There's a hatred towards life because once we are oppressed as the original people, because we represent something, not necessarily we are uh, all ancient souls, like primordial beings, not necessarily if we have melanin, but as melanated people as a whole, we represent that. We represent ancient cultures, we represent the beginning, and also, I should say, the end, which I don't believe will come. So that it's really infinity, you know. And yeah, well, racism has started, you know, in order to have power and control over the people. It's the same system that we see, for example, that the church and the Vatican created, you know, in order to just subjugate, oppress the people, and have control of the masses. So yeah, we are ruled by, well, no, we're not ruled. We were ruled, I should say, by a bunch of social psychopaths and yeah, vampires really, as the woman said, passing by here. But yeah, the time is up. So this caste system, it's been in place for a long time, and the most famous caste system is the one that you find in India, and it was actuated by Alexander the Great, this caste system. So the way I see it, it's simple as that. We all know the simple and superficial dynamic of the blackest being hated the most. We all know it from our upbringing, whether it was in our family or in other families from our ethnic groups, because in the whole of Africa is like that. In the whole of Asia, in the whole of the world, the blackest person is always somehow the black sheep. And under the law of nature, it actually seems to be the opposite, you know. Theoretically, the blacker your skin, the more you can resist under the sun and the more you can absorb the sunlight. So the black skin is not designed to 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 protect you from the sun. Yes, the sun have UVC, which are harmful radiation that can be harmful, but we are designed to absorb the sun. It's our battery. So you see how they change the narrative, and they make it so negatively when it's about us and the sun, our relationship. And this is something that perhaps I failed to say in the other video, and it's one of the reasons why we've been mentally controlled also heavily in that way, because we are always told that we are more protected from the sunlight. No, not that we're protected, we are here to absorb it. There's a difference. It's our battery, simple as that. So the way I see it again is that, yeah, the blackest person is the hated one, the white person is the loved one, is the one that represents the Holy Mary, you know, the mother of Jesus. And the white man is the one that represents Jesus, blue eye, blonde, so is the representation of holiness, you know. So these psychologically have really damaged, really damaged our people, and I see it till this day in almost everybody, whether directly or indirectly. You know, even the ones that pretend to be conscious, or maybe they don't pretend to be conscious, but they do pretend to have an awareness. They do seem to fight against this colorism that is going on, which is a divide and conquer agenda anyway. But then when they talk and they express themselves, you can tell that they stumble upon their own words and they say something that is wrong. Like for me, for example, in a previous video, I said something like, I was talking about the Bantu knots, and I said, yeah, too many Africans have it. That is a simple mistake. It's not like a, what is it called? It's a Freudian, from Sigmund Freud, so-called father of psychoanalysis, so-called, right? But it's not something that he labeled as something that you intended to say because your mind, it's really what it thinks, you know. It's not a Freudian slip or something like that. It wasn't that. I just made a mistake talking. But going back to those people, they always fail more and more time to speak in a certain way and to acknowledge the benefit of who we are. So these people might come out saying, I don't know, you know, they will say something denigrating their essence, their look, or something about their hair, their skin complex, and you will be, what? Did you just listen to yourself? Right? But what can you do? I mean, we are all programmed heavily. We all different minds, different hearts, different consciousness. So yeah, what we can do is just break the spell. And that's what I'm trying to. I saw 11:11. I said break the spell, and I saw 11:11. Yeah, cool. So break the spell. That's what we're making. We're breaking it. But at the end of the day, what this pointless racism that has been created is just hating whoever is different from you, and it starts from a fear place. When you fear something, when you fear the unknown, when you fear something that represents the opposite of who you are, then of course you feel threatened. And on top of that, of course, I don't wanna say what melanated people or so-called black people represent. So original people, a different genetic, an overall power, an overall incredible power compared to the rest of the world that inevitably will put you in the position of being hated upon, people being jealous of you. And of course, it's all about the relationship between man and woman. It's all about for the man protecting the woman, right? Because we are designed to be there. Not only us as melanated people, heavily melanated people with this type of skin complex and much more melanin than me, but even other races, of course. And inevitably, we are a threat to other people, to other races, because we know that their women will run to us. This is a fact. We see that, we saw that, and we're gonna see this even much more in this era where, you know, these interracial relationships, interracial mixing is being advertised, publicized, because there's a nefarious, hidden, dark agenda, you know, of a unity that has never started, honestly, on the political arena. So it's very strange. And when I'm talking about the political arena, I'm talking about, of course, seats in the parliament in every country, you know. I'm talking about careers in every job in the society, and an overall respect that we must obtain in the media, right? Of course, we don't have that still, because those media are still being run by an elite or Enlil, like Enlil, elite Enlil. Check out who Enlil is. that is heavily against us. So we know who the puppet are. We can see them. They have pale faces, but you know, higher powers on top of them. You know, Enlil is an Anunnaki. You know, so and it's not a pale face. It's not a pale face. As I said to you, I believe you are from the Enki bloodline. So I mentioned what Enki means in our language. It means keep it and give it to a woman, right? So and this is of course a message also to women, because they are called to stand up and you know, raise the vibration of this planet Earth, in order for them to conquer back their seat, their heavenly and earthly seat in this reality, you know. As I was saying, Inanna or Aset is the queen of heaven and earth. So yeah, these women have to conquer their seat. They have to remember who they are. Aset, they call it in Egypt. And we have similar names. Like for example, my blood sister is called Awet, which is Awet, and Aset, the queen of heaven and earth, is called Aset or AST, but you see the pronunciation is the same. You see, we have to go back to those origins in order to really remember who we are, to spark, you know, that genetic memory, to reawaken us and redirect us to a future that is not only prosperous but sovereign and supreme, because this is who we are. We are supreme for real, and I mean it. We are supreme. So nothing on top of us. The creator is with us, within us. So we are the throne. We are the throne for real. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, so that's what racism is at the end of the day. So hating the one that is different from you. So if there's someone that is blacker than me, people will hate, for example, the one that's blacker than me. But they will see me as I mentioned in the previous video, because I have a straight nose, certain traits that are not predominant in Africa. They would see me as similar to them or close to them, and I'll be fine, all right. You know, I wouldn't receive the worst of their racism. And as a matter of fact, that's what happened to me growing up here in Italy. See those bells, they never shut up, man. They must disturb my message. So they would see me. I didn't receive much racism, to be honest with you. First and foremost, because I don't know, maybe I don't give the vibe of someone, you know, you should mess with. I don't know. Might be. I don't know. But it's inevitable, you know, you will receive it. But one of the reasons is because of what I've just stated, you know. They didn't see me as, you know, the black person, you know what I mean? Although I'm the realest nigga alive. No, I'm joking. One of the realest niggas. Niggas, it's not a negative word. I said it already. Yeah, it comes from negus, in my opinion. So I like the word nigga and niggas. I don't use it, but I know where it comes from. So I like that. So yeah, and when there's someone like me, for example, and I'm the blackest person, of course, that person will be targeted, and not the ones that, let's say, is lighter than me. Someone that would be, let's say, mixed, half so-called black and half white. So yeah, and that pattern continues. So you hate the one that is more different than you. Then would be, I don't know, someone from Morocco. And then if it's not from someone from Morocco, they will hate on someone from, let's say, Algeria, which some of them, they're truly white. They're really white. Romans. They're really Romans, some of them. And then it would be someone from Sicily. Then if it's not someone from Sicily, it's gonna be someone from Naples, and so on and on. And the hatred continues. The cultural difference that people see, will continue, and it will become hatred. And then if it's not someone from Naples, it will be someone from Rome. It's not someone from Rome, there's somebody else to hate, and we will get closer to to where they live, and then there's nobody else to hate, and it's just you in front of the mirror. And you realize, hopefully you realize one day, it's always been you that you've been hating. You just projected it, right? And that's the concept of racism to me. You just keep hating people that are so-called different from you, because they have a different cultural background, different tone of skin. Although those same people, and you've seen it in your experience, have much more in common being far away from you than, I don't know, maybe your cousin, which looks like you and have the same cultural background as you. But you keep hating. One day you realize, looking at that mirror, all this time it's been me, all along. It's me that I was hating, You realize that it's you that it was the inadequate person. So this is what, for the average person, racism is, right? Hating the opposite, something that represents the opposite. And that's crazy, that's crazy. Don't get me wrong, I mean, in my journey, it's inevitable for all of us when we reawaken. I bet that if you speak to spiritual people, we all had a phase that was filled with anger because of what the state of the world is, because of what the state of your own people is, and because of the lie that have been spoken about us, and of course what the direction for us that this world agenda has taken. Those are the things that would drive you mad, and would make you have a certain resentment toward every person that seems to be, that can be identified with those in power, all of them that you see as their reflection. But definitely hatred is not the answer. Doesn't mean we don't have to fight, because we're fighting. I'm fighting now, putting this video out, I'm fighting. So it's requiring, a certain energy to speak out. Although I could do this all my life, I love it. I would never stop. I love it. But yeah, of course, after that phase of anger, there's a different phase that requires a certain maturity. But you must go through the anger, I believe. You must go through the anger, because when your mind is not clear about what's really going on in the world, and all these type of power dynamics and race relationships, if you're not angry as a black man at first, when you realize all this, you either already an advanced soul that see beyond the spectrum of colors and colorism, or you're just anesthetized, you just You're just the Walking Dead, perhaps. But I don't know. I don't want to label anybody and judge, really, because I might be wrong. But it would feel strange to me that people wouldn't have that fire inside, and fight for their rights, at least like mentally inside their mind and in their everyday thoughts, thinking, what's going on, you know what I mean? What's going on? Yeah, you know the song. It's a nice song. Go check it out. What's going on? So, yeah. Sorry, I was staring at something. Anyway, there wasn't a girl. Yeah, I don't think I just stare at the woman like that. Not with the camera on. No, I'm joking. Seriously. Yeah, what else to say? I lost my train of thought. I will never lose thoughts, but sometimes no way, a train is passing. A train is. I said I will never lose my train of thought. I will never lose thought, man. Can you hear it? Look. Ah, you didn't see it. I will never lose thought. I will never lose Tahuti. Yo, Tahuti has to step in all the time, man. All the time. Stay open, yeah.